This buffalo weather right here.
All right, new Big 12. Here we go, week 1. Let's do a recap. Let's go. Let's see. First game, no particular order. It looks like first game was me against Derek. All right, welcome back, D. Good to have you back in the league with us. Let's see. Pretty close game. Not too bad. I took it 102.7 to 97.2. A little bit of the new scoring in there. Not so bad. My top guys, Jefferson, Edwards, and Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was a little bit of a surprise pick. Threw him in there at the last second. I'm not sure why I did that. Probably listened to somebody on Fantasy Pros that told me to. Derek's top guys, Judy had a nice catch last night. Joe Burrow, 5 picks, 5 turnovers. What's up with that? I don't think that's going to happen again. He's going to be in the Super Bowl, I think, if not for Josh Allen. And James Conner for Derek, not too bad. Next up for Derek next week is Brad. Okay, and next up for me next week is our wonderful cousin Christopher, one of the newcomers to the league. We'll get to his first week score in a bit. Let's see here. Next up, Sean and Dad.
Youngest boy.
This one, Dad, this one could have been bad if you weren't careful. If you didn't have last night, this one could have been the first double up of the year, and right out of the gate, would not have been too awesome. But Sean takes this one pretty handily. Sean is not to be stopped. I don't think. I don't know what's going to stop this kid from just kicking everybody's ass in our league. Sean 151.2, Dad 88.9. Top guys for Sean: Herbert, Barkley, and Taylor, all in the 20s. And top guys for Dad, let's see, Wilson, Thomas, and Mixon. Dad loves Joe Mixon.
It ain't nothing new.
Am I like, Dad, have you picked Joe Mixon every year? I want to say you have. If not every year, then pretty close. Loves Mixon, but still, I mean, he's in the top 3 again. You can't really go wrong. Let's see, next week, what do these two guys have? Next week for Sean is Jordan, last year's champ. And next up for Dad is Trish, both 0-1 next week, looking to get the first win next week in that game. Let's see here. Next up, Noah finally takes down the Canuck. Actually, I did it. So Noah has this thing where he thinks he always plays Trish and always loses to Trish. But I did a little research, and actually, Noah, you've beaten Trish pretty evenly. It's kind of like, so you lost to her once last year, but then beat her the time before that, and then in the year previous, you actually played her 3 times. If I'm looking at this right, I'm gonna pull this up real quick while we're talking about it, just so I can make sure. We're gonna do live research. Hang on a sec. No, 2021 week 1 lost to Trish. Okay, so that's last year. Only played her the one time. 2020 Noah D week 2 beat Trish by 10, and then lost to Trish in week 9. So that's 2020, and then in 2019. Noah's first year in the league, played her 3 times. Lost to her in week 2, beat her in week 9, and then beat her in the playoffs in week 2. So it's not too bad of a record against Trish, but it just seems like you guys are always playing each other early. All right, so this year, rest assured, you did well, and you did well in week 1. Trish coming out, so Trish did not come out firing in week 1. Top guys for Noah, Jalen Hurts, Jamar Chase, and Buffalo's defense. Buffalo's defense with 18 points. Wow. And top performer for Trish was the Chargers defense, 15, and then Boswell and Brady. The Brady pick didn't work out so well this time around, Trish, in this one. And I'm with you there. I have him in another league. Luckily, I won the game, but he didn't do so awesome. But
I'm 45 years old, man. There's a lot of shit going on, so.
He's Tom Brady. He'll go score 50 next week. All right, so. Next up for Noah next week is our wonderful cousin Michael, the other newcomer into the league. So Noah and Mike are both 1-0, and next week we'll have that. Next up for Trish is Dad. We did that earlier, so both looking for their first win next week. Okay, next game on the list. We're almost done. The battle of the attacks. The battle of the attacks here in this one was Cody versus Brad. Brad gets a narrow victory here, only by about 14, not too bad. Top guys for Brad, Lamar Jackson, Swift, and Dylan. Top guys for Cody, Josh Allen, Cody's pick. Cody's dancing pick. He was dancing around. Josh Allen danced to 41, Cody, but he didn't get you the W, man. We got to talk to this Josh Allen. He should have seen, if he had gotten you another touchdown and some yards, you might have gotten a little closer. So 41 for Allen, 41. And then let's see, Sanders and Waddle for Cody. All right, so next week for both of these two, let's see what we have. Next week for Brad is Derek. All right, so 0-1 versus 1-0. And then next week for Cody is the battle and the first battle of the Hulbert house. All right, against your dad, Cody, against your pops next week. You're both 0-1, both looking for a W. Try not to get too distracted by the Giants, trying to get win number 2. That's right, we can talk a little bit and praise a little bit of the football gods that the Giants won a game away from home against a good team. Couldn't believe that. And shout out to Brian Dable, hashtag Dayballs, going for it on fourth and going for it for the 2-point conversion to win the game. I love it. So the next game is Chris against Tim. Chris getting your first win in week 1, 112-88. Top guys for Chris were Mahomes of 47.9. Well, I missed that. That I think is the, let's see, yes, that's the prize for highest scoring player of the week. That's Mahomes, 47.9. Then Devontae Adams and Williams for Tim, 21 points for Miami defense. Definitely the highest scoring defense of the week. And then Cooper Kupp and Pittman Jr. right behind. So let's see, next week for Tim, we know he's playing against Cody. And next week for Chris is against me. That's right. Okay, final game to wrap it up was newcomer Michael against Jordan, last year's champ. Last year's champ goes down in week 1 and loses his quarterback. Man, Dak just out again. It's like, what, the two in the last 3 years Dak's been out week 1. But news today from the almighty Jerry Jones says that he'll be back in 4 weeks. So whatever Jerry Jones sends is gospel. So you can keep him on your IR if you want. Jordan, everybody hit Jordan up for some trades because he didn't draft a backup quarterback.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
So we'll see what he does on waivers or trades here. So Mike gets it 103.9-72. Top guys for Mike were Diggs, Murray, and McLaren. And top guys for Jordan were Brown, Chubb, and Cook. Not a bad week. Good week. So let's see. Let's go through the awards for the week. Lowest score of the week goes to Trish. What happened? Didn't work out. Sitting over in your corner. What happened? 64.9. 64.9 lowest score of the week. Good job, Dad. You missed it. Awesome. So you don't have to endure too much trash talk from Brad on the chat. By the way, guys, the chat is on fire. Everybody has entered the chat. I'm loving it. I fell asleep and then woke up to messages. I love that. Keep it up. Let's see. High score of the week is, by far, it's Sean. 151.2. 151.2. Somebody knocked this kid off of his pedestal down there in Virginia Tech. Goodness gracious. Okay. Closest game. Let's see. Closest game. Nail-biter game. Let's see here. It was probably say Brad and Cody. It was the closest, it looks like. Wasn't too bad. Came down to Brad winning just by 14. So that's not bad. That looks to be the closest margin. Not too bad. All right, so get your waiver picks in, everybody. Get your trades out there, and just, not to throw a bunch of shade at everybody like I did last year. Just trade nicely. Trade with some dignity. Don't put crazy ones out there. Hit some Jordan up for some quarterback trades. Get your waiver picks in next week. Starts up on Thursday. Make sure you got your lineups in. Don't fall asleep and miss anybody that's playing on Thursday night. All right. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.